Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Deb here with our Deb Talks. And today we have the pleasure of having a very, very beautiful friend of mine called Elies. She is joining us all the way from Bali today. And we are going to talk to her a little bit about her journey and also about her new podcast that she just started called Angels Transmissions. And we're just going to talk to her about how she got to this place of actually being able to talk to people about angels. And because, there are some people who believe in angels and there are some people who don't believe in angels. And that's okay, right? But today we're just going to talk to her a little bit about her journey and what makes this kind of journey for her towards being so bold and saying, I believe in angels, and I'm even going to make a podcast about it. So without further ado, Elies, would you introduce yourself to our listeners, please?
Hi, Deb. Great to connect with you again, and hello to your listeners, everyone who is listening. I'm Elies, and I'm here in Bali right now. Beautiful place. I'm an angel healer and spiritual coach. So I'll start with the podcast itself. So for the past few weeks or so, I just keep hearing the words like angels transmission and angels transmission, like those divine download that is just like keep popping up. If you have ever experienced, it's like, so that happened to me, but I was like, okay, I hear you, I got you, but I still don't know what it is. Like, all I receive are like 2 words. Can you give me one more word maybe? And then one fine day I was like, oh, I think it's a podcast. And the moment that pieces came in, it's just like bam, bam, bam. I think I launched it in less than a week or something. And I already have most of the episodes downloaded energetically and recorded. And then I'm like, that is easy. And that is kind of how the podcast came about. And as to how I started to so to speak, being so bold to talk about the angels. Well, I wish I talked about it 7 years ago. But how the coming out of the closet thing. So the funny thing was I actually started working with my angels approximately 7-8 years ago, I think 7 to 8 years ago. And I started with playing with angel cards and eventually diving deeper. And my first workshop that I ever did was actually on angels card reading workshop with my mentor back then. Okay. And over the years, I kind of take a detour and I move over. I mean, I'm still working with my angels all the time, but in terms of my work, I kind of detour and doing life coaching, love coaching, and business coaching, and then one big merry-go-round, and here I am back.
You're back to where you started.
I know. That could be a shorter journey, but of course we all know everything happens for a reason, and that it is what helps me to truly embody the work, I guess, before I'm now okay, I'm full on this now.
Okay. Yeah. So when you talk about the angels and the angel transmission, what does that mean for individuals? Is it that we all have angels around us, and how can we tap into it? And does it help us with our day-to-day life? And does it help us to awaken spiritually about, our true nature? So what is the purpose of bringing to the world this transmission of angels?
Okay. So yes, I do believe each and every one of us has our team of angels, and I like to call them your divine life coaches. So imagine if you have energetic life coaches. So that's kind of how they work with us to guide us in our journey on earth. And yes, we all do have our angels. We can learn how to connect and tap and tune into the angels and work with them on our daily basis. So yeah, that's what I believe, and that's kind of what my work is around, and eventually, of course, also to receive the healing energy with the angels. As for the podcast itself, though, it is kind of it's called Angels Transmission because it is what my angels are guiding me to transmit. So it is going to be like anything under the sun that we are going to talk about today. But in doing that, it is also a lot of the topics will in one way or another talk about the angels, and hence kind of like an invitation and taster, I guess, for people to get this idea that like, hey, there's this thing called the angels, and maybe you want to connect, maybe you don't, but why not?
It's available for you if you want to, because yeah, in our world, we've seen people, when you talk about transmission, there are a few people around the world who, like, for example, what's the lady's name? Oh, I forget it now, but it'll come back to me. She also has like almost like a guide where she receives information and then she gives that information to the people. Abram, that's what's it called? You know, the lady who, she channels, she channels Abram. So it's kind of like this, a similar thing is that there are entities that if you want to tap into them, that they can guide you, and not even just you, but they can also help to guide people around you. For example, if you're a coach and so on. So it's kind of like similar to, to just tapping into something that's beyond the logic and something that's beyond yourself, because there are times in our life where we feel we need a bit of guidance, or we feel afraid, or we feel we're lost. And then, since we've been kind of young, we hear that there are angels in heaven, or, there are entities around that can help you. So perhaps it's not such a foreign thing to hear about that there are angels and there are these entities around us that can help us and guide us in our daily lives if we feel overwhelmed, or if we feel we're struggling with something. So it's not so new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's all around us. So I actually have my own little story about an angel story. When I was very, very young, about maybe 5 or 6 years old, I think, my mom had sent me on an errand with my brother. And when we came back from this errand, it was getting dark. And in my little mind, I was like, I guess it was the first time I was outside alone in the dark. And I was like a little scared, and I pretended that there was an angel covering us with their wings and helping us to get home. And so that actually was my very first experience about an angel. And I don't know where I heard about angels, because like I said, I was very young, but I always remember that image. Because when I was very afraid, I just tapped into that there's an angel that will protect you. So I'm sure people that are listening here have had, some experience of an entity that helps them when they've been in trouble or when they've been afraid. So how do you help people to access that angel or angels in their life or around them that can help them?
I do guide them through meditation to help them to connect with their team of angels, so they can connect with them via the meditation. If not, the simple thing, honestly, I feel is just really call in their presence. Even if you are new to this and you don't have experience in this spiritual work, so to speak, you can just call in like, I'm open and available to the help from my angels. I'm available for your help. Help me. Thank you. Something like that. So it is just you being aware of their presence and be open to their help. And angels doesn't always come in like wings or like unseen world, right? I mean, like they do sometimes manifest through people, like people who help you out of nowhere.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I literally had, there was one time I was riding my scooter here in Bali, and I ran out of, you call it gas or fuel?
Gas, yeah.
Ran out of gas, and then, it was out of gas, and then there was this guy came out of nowhere and like, I'm going to help you get some gas. And then not only that he helped me, he doesn't even want the money, and he is like, no, it's okay, I'm just here to help sincerely. And then he's gone, and I'm like, oh, okay, thank you, angels, I received it.
Okay.
That's what I mean by they are everywhere, the same way miracles are everywhere if we pay attention and live in that awareness, right?
Yes. And so, of course, there are people that do work and they're called angels. And so that's also part of the angel. It's not just the unseen entities. Because, again, it's great that you cleared it up, because I was thinking that, okay, we're talking about angels, and we're talking about these unseen entities that we heard about when we were little. That's in, like for example, in Christianity, they talk about angels, which is like in heaven, and so, but it's great that it's great that you also make the distinction that there are also angels that are walking on the earth, because they could be somebody who's just there when you need a helping hand and they don't want anything in return. Yeah, that's really amazing. That's a really amazing point to make here. There are angels walking amongst us. And of course, we also have the opportunity to be an angel for someone else then, isn't it, in our daily life? Exactly. So we should always be on the lookout as like, how can I be of service? And then we can exchange that gifts, right?
Yeah, perfect. Perfect way to say it, like, how can I be of service?
To others, yeah. So how did you find, how do clients that you work with, how do they receive this information? Because like I said, again, it's not everybody in the world that is even open to receiving the information about angels. Like people just rub it off as like, oh, that's a fairy tale, or it doesn't exist. How do you work with people? For example, if they come to you, how do you work with them to introduce it? So if they are not open to it.
Mm-hmm. So I do have, if they are not open to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So actually that is what I did in the very first module of I have a course called Healing with Your Angels. It's for people who want to work deeper with the angels, but I do start by like asking them to ask for signs from the angels. Like if you don't believe it, it's okay. Just try, play, have fun, be curious, and ask for signs from your angels. For example, like, okay, whatever you want to ask, like even it's like, am I on the right track with this course? Let's say if they are taking the course, or am I on the right track with this podcast? Like, am I supposed to be in the podcast with that, for example? And then send me a butterfly by the end of the day. And then like just play around with that idea and asking your angels to take physical manifestation in that sense. And then if you see a butterfly in 5 seconds, or even in 23 hours later, you see the butterfly. And that is usually what my clients really start to open up, is when they have those synchronicities in their life that they probably encounter every day, but do not have the awareness. But now that they do, life becomes so magical, and they start to see those angel signs and messages in everyday life. And that is how I usually start to help people to recognize the signs, and as well as angels numbers, saying 111, 222, 333, and all of those little things. As you said before, that it is not just like the unseen. Like, yes, they might be from the unseen, but they can take physical form, like the angels numbers. And exactly because they are unseen, and if you cannot see the unseen, they have to be seen in that form.
So you have to manifest it in some way, in a physical way, that you can know that you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So would you perhaps be willing to guide us a little bit in a small, like, little meditation today, where we can like all together learn how to access this?
Beautiful. It will be lovely. Just want to know how much time we have, how long.
So about 10 minutes or so. Okay, that would be fantastic.
All right, let's close our eyes.
So hopefully, listeners, I hope you're not driving, but if you are driving, you can just maybe stop, or or maybe pause and then do the meditation after.
So placing your hands on your heart, just connecting with your heart space. And taking one deep grounding breath, breathing in and out with a sigh. Breathing in Feeling into your heart. Dropping deeper into your body. Surrendering into the now. And let it all in. I now call forth all our angels to be here with us today. May all that is said and done be done for the highest good of all. I invite you to imagine a golden light right on the top of your head. And seeing this golden light coming down like a shower, a waterfall coming down from the top of your head, all the way down into your face and into your heart space and into your legs, your feet, all the way down to Mama Gaia. Down, down until you reach the core of Mother Earth. Going all the way down until you see a wooden door. You open this door and you see a huge lotus flower. And you walk towards the lotus flower and you sit right on it. Feeling the lotus flower supporting you, holding you, embracing you. And suddenly you start to see a light shining so brightly, beaming in whatever color it shows for you. This light starts to come closer and closer to you. It gets brighter and brighter until it's right in front of you. And this light takes whatever shape and form it takes, representing your angels. And your angels tell you, I've been waiting for you. I'm so happy to meet you in this way today. Are you ready to connect more? And you said yes. You imagine there is a cord in the center of your heart and another cord in the center of this light being. And you see the cord from your heart going all the way to the center of the heart of your angels and another cord from your angels back to you. seeing this like a swirling light coming in, coming out, flowing in, flowing out. For you and your angels are one. Just taking a moment to feel the presence and perhaps receive a message or two. If not, just lean into the silence. And your time with your angels are almost coming to an end just for today. And your angels tell you, I'm always here for you. You are loved. You are protected. You are held in the arms of divine love. Call me anytime. In meditation, in prayer, in writing, and even just by calling my name. Calling your angels. And I love you. And your angels bow to you with gratitude, and you bow back. Thanking your angels, thanking yourself. And you start to see this light starts to dissipate and dissolve. And you start to stand up from this lotus flower, thanking the flower and seeing the flower dissolving. Everything around you starts to dissolve, and then you see the wooden door. Walking towards the same door you came in. You now walk through this door again as you close it behind you, getting ready to come back to your body. And then you travel all the way up from Mother Earth, all the way up, back to your feet, to your leg, to your heart, all the way back to your body. Calling back all parts of you, all your power, all your energy back across time, space, and dimension as you come fully back into your body, into the here and now, into the present moment, and leaning into the next few moments of silence as you integrate what just happened. Sealing in this session with one deep grounding breath, breathing in. Very slowly, you may start to wriggle your feet, wriggle your fingers, putting a smile on your face, and even bigger smile on your heart. And open your eyes when you're ready. Welcome back.
That was wonderful.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that simple guidance and how we can access our angels. It's very beautiful. The feeling stays with you because everything that we do affects only us, whether that's love, whether that's hate, whether that's fear. And so always remember that we have the power to transform any negative situation, any negative feeling or thoughts. And this is a beautiful little guided meditation that just so simple. You can go into a deep part of yourself and access a part of yourself that's so pure. That's literally what it is, isn't it? It's very beautiful. Thank you for guiding us through that, and for showing us how easily it's accessible. Because I had a thought as I was coming out, when we are in our dream state, all the characters in the dream is represented by us because there's nobody else involved. It's all happening in your brain, right? And so it reminded me a little bit when I came out of the meditation how everything is present within us. We just have to know how to access it. So therefore, with angels, our guides, we can access all of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a beautiful way of showing us that it doesn't matter what's going on. You're always able to access goodness within yourself.
It's all just love and
yes.
love and love, right?
Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And for myself, what I experienced was my angel that I actually talked about when we started, when I was working with my little brother that time. And I met this same angel, which was very beautiful.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes. So definitely, exactly. Sure. So definitely, if you're listening here and you're looking for connection with the deeper part of you, the spiritual part of you as well. This is just how easy it is to access. Sit and take yourself on a journey to meet and just have that intention that you want to meet your angel or angels or, some part of you that can guide you if you're going through a difficult time. Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is amazing. So these are the kinds of journeys that you would guide your clients on when they come to you to help them to connect with. And in a way, we can also say it's about connecting with your higher self, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I love how you said earlier on about how there's so much synchronicities that happen in our daily life, but we don't see it because we're really so busy seeing the world and, from the mind's perspective, the mind is so busy. And if we just stop, then we can, become aware of there's a little program that's running and it's running basically unconsciously. So when you can stop and bring awareness, then you'll be able to truly see life as it's happening, which is miraculous, and not just the story that keeps repeating over and over. It's a beautiful, kind of like it's an opportunity to pause from the busyness and also the opportunity to understand that you have the ability to access within yourself this awareness. So there's another way that we can see it when you're able to connect with an angel or with a guide. It's literally just all you have to do is pause. And I'll tell the little story about the synchronicity about how Elies and I met. I was visiting in Bali some few years ago. And we were both at I think it's at the cacao ceremony, in the pyramid. And she just happened to come and sit next to me. And so we went through this whole ceremony and we started talking. And literally after the ceremony, we went and had something to eat there because there's a little restaurant. And Elies, and I was also there with some friends, and Elies, we started talking and introduced her to a group. And the funny thing is that we had plans to go to the beach area a couple of days after, and she came with us, and then and she spent a week with us. And it was amazing to the synchronicity of like her sitting next to me and us talking, and then her joining us on some of our travels. And so these are the things these synchronicities. And of course, we've been friends ever since. And now, like, I've invited her to talk a little bit about her Angels Transmissions podcast, because I was a little interested in hearing about how you go about accessing this and helping other people with this. Because like I said, there are a lot of people who think, oh, that's taboo, you know. But again, when you have the experience of something, when you have the feeling and sensation of that, you can't really discount it so much anymore. So before you discount it, perhaps take an opportunity to have the experience, and even do this short little meditation that Elies was so beautifully doing with us. And then see, because I know that I was able to follow you as you guided us. And like, literally, if there's no resistance in your brain, you will access it. So if you notice resistance, it's okay. It's not a negative thing. It's just because that's how you've been conditioned. But just because your point of view is that, oh, it's taboo for angels, doesn't mean it's the truth. Because perhaps if you can change your point of view, then perhaps you can have a different experience. And that's the opportunity, right, that we all have on a daily basis to enhance basically the understanding of who we truly are. And there are so many different facets of how we exist. And, you know, we all express ourselves in different ways, but it doesn't mean that if you don't believe in expressing yourself in this way, which is like, I believe in angels, doesn't mean it's not true. Maybe it's just not true for you, right? Because you need to shift your point of view. But everything is possible. Within us, all things exist. So this is wonderful, because I love how this helps us to explore and go a little bit deeper into our belief systems, you know. And I have to say, when I first heard of the Abram lady, many, many, many years ago, I was a little skeptical of that too. But then when you are in the presence of such a person and you begin to feel the experience, you experience that, what she's talking about, you feel that, then you can't doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you brought up Abraham, because my very first episode in my podcast is actually about channeling. And I personally so remember I was saying I started my journey by angel card reading angel card for myself first. And the very first deck I bought is called Angel Therapy, I think. And the first card I got is Mediumship. And just like you, I had resistance about like the idea of mediumship, and I was like, oh no. And then I was like, I think I might have done something wrong. Let's redo this whole thing. And I kind of like redo the entire card reading, and the same card came out. And even then I was like, I'm still sure like the angels messed this up.
So you want to take another card?
No, I didn't take another card, but I'm just like, I think we are done for the day. I will take it that I have not seen this card. Like, that was literally how much resistance I had. And yeah, so I didn't really like explore that, and it was okay. And then I come back around now embodying it, right? And I had like a whole story about it in the episode itself, which I won't go too much details because of time, but it was also partly because like of past experience about whatever you heard about mediumship or channeling, that for me, like, I had a personal experience visiting a medium as a child, which makes me feel a bit scared about the concept, which is why I was like, no, like, I'm
resisting
not gonna do that. Like, yeah, but it doesn't mean that is the only way to do it, nor that is the only truth, right? Like, there are different ways of channeling, different ways of doing it, and even just different ways of seeing channeling. At the end, it's just a word, like
awareness.
Right now, probably
exactly.
we are, or maybe we are not if we don't believe it.
Yeah, and for me, the way that I make sense of it is that I know that we are all connected, and I know that existence exists within and through me. And so however I perceive existence is how it exists for me. But I also understand that existence is infinite. And so as I stay open to this infinite, because the little I, the logical mind, cannot know it all because it's very limited. But when I allow and stay open to the unlimited, then I can experience on a daily basis something that can perhaps even blow my little mind away. And I think when we talk about channeling or we talk about angels, is an aspect that often in the logic mind we reject, because we're always looking for evidence. If we can't touch and feel and taste it, well, there's no evidence for it. But we know that life exists beyond this evidence-based experiences that we're looking for, because we experience these miracles in our life every day. So whether you're aware of it or not, I mean, just think about us on this little planet. We are swirling around in space on this little planet, and we're having an experience that we think is so, like in our day-to-day life, we get so involved and so overwhelmed with our little life, and yet we are so tiny in the existence of the infinite. And if you really take a moment to understand how tiny you are, then you will not get so overwhelmed with your with your life. You'll be like more awestruck. It's like, oh my God, like how miraculous is it that, we're just far enough away from the sun, but not too far away that we can actually use it for heat and food and stuff like that, right? So there are so many amazing big things that we exist in that blows your little mind away, and yet the logical mind rejects how much there is, and it's not a negative thing. It's just perhaps today I would hope that we bring a little bit of awareness to the fact that you can access angels, and they can help you, and they can help you in your spiritual life. And your spiritual life literally is your daily life. It's everything that you do is your spiritual life. It's not to say that you have to go sit on a mountain and then meditate the whole day. No, your spiritual life is in raising your children. It's in figuring out how you can be the best sister or the best husband or the best wife, or these are all part of your spiritual journey. It's not separate. It's not separate from who you are. So hopefully today we inspire you to a little bit to access your angels. It was definitely for me a great experience. Again, like I said, I had connected with this angel that I had many, many years ago. And I have through my life actually accessed this angel. And it was wonderful to know, and I'm so happy that I could reconnect with her so I can use her more in my life and be more aware of her and ask her for advice in a way. So, try it out and really see, because like I said, you have to understand that everything is present within you. Everything is present within you, and we are all connected. So therefore it makes sense then that we can be channels for past, like with Abraham, she's using this guy that's giving information that's beyond the logic, so she can access that information and help people with their daily life. And so why not, right? Like we're all here to help each other and to walk each other home, really, in a way, right? So yeah, if you've been sitting on the fence, and I love how Elies is talking about her first experience was she just bought a deck of cards, and perhaps that's what you want to do, is just with an open mind, with an open heart, maybe read a card. I personally don't have angel cards, but I wouldn't be opposed to reading one. And I have to say, in the past, when I did read cards, like every now and then, you'll get an opportunity to read a card. The cards have always been very spot on. Again, why? Because you are the only real person here. So whatever you interact with becomes reality. So even if you draw from the unreal, you still bring it into your reality. So understand that you have the power. So it's not about the angels, or it's not about the entities around you. It's actually all about you. And in a way, when you can access an angel, you can perhaps think of it as accessing a higher self of yourself. Because again, where do we exist? We exist in the logic mind. Everything is happening. You are perceiving the world through the mind, and through the logic mind, that's a little limited. The limitation is there. And I think it was Einstein that said, if you want to change something, you have to go to a different frequency. So if there's a problem in your life and it's on this frequency of the logic mind, because that's where your thinking happens, your thoughts and so on, then you have to go a little bit higher. So perhaps the higher is in this pure consciousness, where the awareness of their angels and their guides, or however you interpret that. It doesn't matter. We don't have to even give it a name. It doesn't have to be an angel, but it's just, if you can make create an opportunity for yourself to tap into your pure consciousness, and then there you'll be able to see the infinite possibilities. And then on a daily basis, like every day, you just allow whatever needs to come through for you to help you in your day-to-day life, to bring more joy and happiness, because we are the source of joy and we are the source of happiness, but we don't know because it lies hidden from us. And so sometimes these experiences help us to tap into that part of us that was hidden for us to enjoy.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So Elies, I would like to thank you so much for this. I really appreciate you taking the time. There's a huge time difference between where I am in British Columbia and Bali. And so I really appreciate so much that you took the time to help bring this to light for our listeners about how easily they can access their angels and how it can help them in their life. We are going to put all Elies's information at the bottom of this podcast. So if you want to reach out to her, you can. And even if you want to start listening to her angels transmission podcast, all this stuff we'll make available at the bottom. And we just want to thank you so much and wish you all the best. And I'm sure hundreds and hundreds of people are going to be inspired to be in touch with their angels because of what you're doing. So it's such an honor and a privilege to have you and share all this wonderful gifts, that angels can bring to our life.
Yeah, thank you again for having me, Deb, and it's been an honor and great joy to connect with you and our angels in the session, and as well as with the listeners. So sending all of you much love and
thank you so much. Yes, I am coming in February to Bali with doing a retreat there. So I'm sure I will catch up with you then.
All right. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Take care. Bye.